Well, we're live, everybody. Hope my mic is working. Today we're going to have Run Safe. We're also going to talk about cycling, part two. So here we go. I had the opportunity to be on Withlacoochee Trail last week, and I saw some cyclists, some runners, and I know I'm up front in your face, but I went up and asked them if they had anybody that knew that they were out here riding. Now, the ones that were riding were in recumbent type trikes, and they were in pairs. They looked like they were over 60, but it was a man and a woman. I asked them, and they said no. And I said, um, I know you're riding with somebody, but how would someone find you if you were, you know, riding by yourself and something happened? And they kind of like had a question mark. And I said, did you ever use uh, Strava beacon? And they said no. So we were talking about it, and I mentioned that I had a podcast where I talked about what happened a month ago with a runner, this Eliza, that was murdered while she was running at 4 a.m. in the morning. So we were talking, and they were very interested. And they saw, they could understand that they needed to tell somebody because they were empty nesters. And I saw a couple of runners, and I asked them, and I didn't really find anybody that was too concerned about telling somebody where they're going. Now, I'm old enough to remember, when I was a kid and so forth, we go out, ride bikes for 5 miles out, and we just tell our parents we're going outside. They didn't know where we were going, but we're not in Kansas anymore. So now, with all the technology, you should be able to tell somebody where you're going. Why it's very, very important. If you don't and you have a particular problem, how are they going to find you? And I talked about this in part one, where my wife and I were out on a trail up in North Georgia, and I kind of like thought about, we don't have any internet, any phone access, nothing. Like, nobody knows where we are, and it was kind of scary in a sense that with all the technology and everything today, it's important that people know where you are. So I wanted to take a look at the first thing besides the running, but I'm going to go over to cycling. Uh, I had someone tell me that when you're cycling, something could go wrong. You could go down, you could be unconscious. So, what they suggested is you put in a little baggie, you write the person to contact, their name and telephone number. You put in a little baggie so it doesn't get wet in case you're out, running or cycling and it's raining. You put that information down. The other thing is, for myself, I'm diabetic. No one would know that if I didn't tell somebody. So, and I'm allergic to erythromycin and sulfa drugs. So, if you're running and cycling, you need to jot that down, basically what problems you have medically, and put that on a piece of paper, put it in a little baggie. So if you were unconscious, they could administer certain medications and hopefully pay attention to the fact that you're allergic to several. So that would help enormously. So you just put it in a little baggie, and with the jersey, you can put it in the back, or you can put on one of those belts when you're running and so forth. So it only takes you a couple of minutes, and it can really help. So um, the other thing is, when you head out the door to run and you're running in your neighborhood, you don't think about, eh, especially if you're by yourself or live by yourself. Does anybody know where I'm going to be? Uh, Especially if you don't have your phone. If you have your phone and so forth, then it's not too bad. But let's say you're going out on a trail like the one which is Croon's Trail in off of Withlacoochee Trailhead. You need to tell somebody where you're going because something could happen, ankle or whatever. And if you don't have phone access, you need to be able to tell somebody or they should know where you are. Now, with the Strava, the beacon, I send it out to my wife and she can see if I stop, where I'm going, where I'm on the trail. When I was riding up in Brevard, she can see the route where I am. Also, if you're cycling and you're on a uh, certain route that you've already recorded, you can send that to your uh, significant other, so to speak, and they can see you on the route where you are. Say you're going 30 miles, it'll follow you like a GPS. So that's very, very important that you send that information to somebody. So the cycling, you need to have something in there with information, who they should call if you're unconscious, if you have medical problems, jot that down, even when you're running. So when you're running, say, a couple hours, please tell somebody where you're going. Now, the other thing is with running safe, you need to prepare where you have certain things that if you are dehydrated or you're having a medical problem, that you carry a couple things that you can use as far as electrolytes, salt, possibly any type of maybe a band-aids or anything of that nature. So if there was a particular problem, especially on a uh, trail that's not paved but it's going through the woods, that you have something that you can use just for the moment if there's a basic problem that you have as far as a injury or you're bleeding, something of that nature. People who go out and run sometimes run early in the morning. Um, and here's my gripe, and I'll first talk about cycling. I see cyclists that have $5,000 to $10,000 bike who have no lights on the bike front and back. Big, big mistake. I had lights on my bike was in the daytime. I got hit by a car and I was lit up like crazy. But to have no lights when you're out riding, especially in the morning or late at evening, is a big mistake. If you're cycling and you know you're going to come back in the dark, you need to have not only just lights, but also a flashlight type light on the front so you can see in front of you. I was down in Florida, like I said last week, and I was what road was I on? I think it was Broad Street in Brooksville. Coming along, I had to get gas, and I made starting to make a left hand turn. Two cyclists went by me, and I almost hit one. No lights on, nothing, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, "Are you crazy? No lights? You got an expensive bike, and you don't want to spend any money for lights? Big, big mistake." Same thing with running. They have vests now that light up, blink, do everything, neon, whatever you want. You can get all kinds of lights that you can have on your body. People can see you. Very, very important. It is so difficult during the day to see a runner along the side of the road sometimes if you're in a shaded area, and let alone a cyclist late at night. So there are things out there that you need to get that are not expensive so you can run safe, cycle safe, and not have any problems. And if you do have a particular problem, people can look on your person on who to call if you have any medical problems so they feel comfortable until an EMT or some type or an ambulance picks you up. Because in the meantime, if you are diabetic and you don't tell anybody, it could be a problem when the EMT comes there because they have no idea what type of medical problems you have. So if you're running early in the morning where it's just, sun's coming up, make sure you have lights, a vest. If you're running on a trail in the woods and it's going to get dark, you're running behind, get a headlight on the head, use that. They have a lot of races now, ultra marathons where they do run at night. They have lights on, even with mountain bike cyclists. They go on trails and they have lights on the bike, lights on the head. It's very, very important to do that. So make sure you run and cycle safe and keep that in mind. It doesn't take that much time to do that. And you'll thank yourself for taking that time to let people know where you are, and they won't think it's a pain in the neck that he just signaled me I'm out on 220 and I'm doing this, doing that. They want to know where you are. Like I said, when I was a kid, it wasn't a big deal. You're always out playing, doing this, but it's much, much different right now. I also talked previously about if you're out on a trail, you can carry a knife, pepper spray. Uh, I had to talk with someone that said I didn't mention that some particular knives, depending on the length, and if you have it in your pocket, are considered a concealed weapon. So you have to check with the laws in your state or county, probably the state, to see if you can carry that without a concealed weapon license. If you need that, go to your county, you can get it. So it's not a big deal. You can carry one. Sometimes having a knife and so forth helps with different things. Run through the woods, you got to cut down some brush, you trip, whatever, you need a knife. So check on concealed weapon because if you're going on a trail or a street and you do have a weapon like a knife, you might get I don't know, maybe a little bit in trouble if somebody knows that you're concealing, you don't have a concealed permit. So I want to go over those key things. We're going to have convert this into a podcast, and I'm going to talk about different things. Try at least once a day to mention different things in the running and cycling world. And we have a podcast on Anchor all about running. Looking for guests to come on. I'm looking for guests to come on here. So if you uh, would like to come on here as a guest, all you have to do is email me, and we'll see what we can do. I can get like 4 people on here, so please send me an email at mydestinationtrainer@gmail.com. It's mydestinationtrainer@gmail.com, and we'll get you on here. So have a great running and cycling day. This Saturday and Sunday, you have events coming up. Hope everything goes well, and I'll talk to you later.